I am Tajay. I'm a registered marriage and family therapist here in California, specializing in trauma, and my doctorate is in clinical psychology. With that being said, Mr. Dash, it's a lot going on. We're still in the midst of COVID. LA's on lockdown again. But just personally speaking, I know you've had some things going on, so what's up?
All right, here's the thing. I thought it was urgent that I spoke to you today.
Yeah.
Because lately, I've been feeling something I haven't been feeling in a while. Anxiety. And the reason why is because everything in the midst of all this is going so well in my life. And like, I'm going through this thing because of what happened with Raquel and myself earlier, last year. Now she's pregnant, she's 5.5 months. Every time we go to the doctor, I'm scared. Where before I never was. And it's based on prior experience. And the way I deal with that is I'm supposed to be scared.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's normal.
Absolutely.
And then I don't feel scared anymore. Every time, because it's COVID, Raquel and Nicolette and I sit in the car because we can't go in the hospital, into the doctor.
Right. And
I always have this conversation with Nicolette because I feel it, I release it, and then I feel better. But I still, until I get that, text from Rocky that everything's good, I'm still sort of like on edge. And lately, everything in my life has been going so good that it almost seems perfect. And the last time I felt that way was Ali, and she died. And it gives me anxiety when things are good. But in my brain, I'm like, that's that fear thing that we're programmed to feel, that when everything's going good, you think something's gonna go wrong.
right.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep. It's been repetitive in my brain.
Right.
Because every time I look at Raquel, every time I look at my crib, every time I look at my office, every time I look at how prepared I am for this very moment, I'm like, perfect. Because it doesn't seem like anything is ever perfect in life. But I do feel like I fought hard enough to deserve perfect at some point. But it just seems like life's never perfect. So it scares me. I want to enjoy this moment. How do I enjoy this moment?
Well, the first thing that you do is, something that we've talked about before, is concentrate on the present. Bringing that anxiety down involves, some biological things as well as mental things. Breathing, calming everything down. Also remembering all the times in your life where things have been going good and stayed going good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we get caught up in the negative because the negative memories are strong. Even if it only happened twice, 3 times.
But it's crazy because even when negative things happen, life was still going good.
And those are things you gotta continue.
The good has been happening for the last, honestly, when I compare my life to others, there's no one I know that hasn't cried over somebody dying or hasn't gotten sick. I just feel like every second my life has been better than most. And even if it was like tomorrow it was over, and it shouldn't be, I've had more fun than everyone combined. I just feel like I'm having so much fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost not fair.
Right.
Based on, I look at how everyone else is like, my narrative on life is so much different. I see things so much different than everyone else.
Right.
But it's so simple to me. But that anxiety, because again, the last time I felt life was perfect, it got obliterated in a second.
And again, you have to also,
even with Raquel last year, so
right.
I almost anticipate some kind of pain sometime.
And the type of losses that you took have been very big ones. So
It's normal.
It's completely understandable that you would feel that way. The way you kind of get through that, though, again.
Well, when you validate it,
yeah.
Because I look at it like this. I'm supposed to feel this way based on what's happened.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm right with it, but it's still there. I want it gone.
Well, that's the thing. Those types of things are.
I don't like to feel that shit. I'm not used to it.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up though, because I think a lot of people deal with that kind of thing, especially when things are going good in life and they've experienced a lot of negative, things in their lives, or even a couple of things. If it's very traumatic, it'll be through your whole life. You'll think about it. You're traumatized. But again, there's a lot of times in your life where things have continued to go well and you've been happy. You know what I mean?
Majority.
Yeah. So those are the things you got to focus on.
When it's devastated me, it's really hurt.
Absolutely.
Like yesterday I saw my man hurt. You know what I mean? In public. And I was like, damn, certain things trigger hurt. Like sometimes that I don't expect to make me cry, on the left fucks me up. And I saw somebody that got sideswiped that didn't address something. And he addressed it in public. And to me that was art. To be able to feel pain in front of people, be judged, and to still be able to not give a f. That's art and brave. Regardless of what mental state that is, it's still brave for me. But it's art,
Right.
But I felt them because I know sometimes it's me when I'm not expecting it.
Right.
And things hurt me. Because sometimes you don't let things hurt you in that moment. Because you got other happening that's so good you don't want to deal with that. But the moment you really deal with it, it hurts, no matter where you at or what's going on. And to be able to be honest in that moment, I feel is like, to be able to not hold back is brave to me. To be able to show what you really feel is brave. Like, everyone's gonna talk about it, but I feel like, brave, man. And they went out there with a bulletproof vest and really just spoke about what was hurting him and cried. And I got strength from that. Because I always try to find light when everyone looks at things as dark. You know what I mean?
Right. And emotion is a hard thing to translate, especially when people are looking from the outside, looking in.
Yeah, but I look at the bigger picture. Everyone has their moments, they're human.
Yeah.
But overall, their actions are so ill that you deserve to have a moment because you're there when people need you. And that's a guy that I'm like, he needs somebody, but he always there when I need him. And when I say that, when my daughter was acting up, surprisingly, when I spoke to my daughter, the only person that held me down was him. And that's why I love that dude. When it counts, he's there. He was the one that said, yo, you need to listen to your dad.
Right.
And I was actually upset because I thought he wasn't doing that. But he didn't tell me he did. Ava told me he did. That's a real nigga right there.
And I think too, your perspective is different. He's that person's a friend and it's a real person to you. That's not how a lot of these people are looking at the situation. And, it is what it is. I think you're concentrating on the right things and
I don't care what, me, B. I don't care about people.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's crazy when people see weakness, I see strength. My narrative is always different.
Right.
I saw a nigga take that hat off and I didn't hear nobody clap. But the nigga was so mad about it.
Right.
I don't hear nobody talking about dropping that $2 million.
Right.
I
mean, what does this do to you personally, emotionally, seeing these things go on? I mean, that's the important thing here. It's not worrying about what everybody else talking about. It's what's going on within you and how it's affecting you.
It's when you see the world affected by someone that you affect, you just feel great. Part of the game.
Right.
These are the reasons why we're in the position we are now.
I mean, does it remind you of times that you yourself may have been misunderstood or, things like that?
I just hope he doesn't care. Because I don't care. I really don't. I don't care about what nobody thinks but my family, man. That's it. I'm having too much fun to care about bubblegum. Opinions and motherfuckers that don't play the game. He playing that game hard and heavy. And he drops the bag when it's time. proud of him no matter what. Nothing's gonna make me not proud of that dude based on what he done. Niggas can slip, everybody does. He hasn't slipped yet because nobody's hurt. Every time he does do an action, everybody's happy, everybody benefits. And that's all I give a f about.
I mean, I think it speaks to a point where the first thing you're worrying about is, you know, making sure that person is good, you know, personally. And not, you know, again,
He's good.
Yeah, and again, this is a therapy session, which is, you know, we're not, a therapy-esque conversation, I should say. Whereas, you know,
I just appreciate the art of emotion and capturing it. And he gives it to us. You know, he's the new Michael Jackson. Evolved. The world would be whack without him.
Right. I mean, and it also speaks to the, the narrative that's going on. You know, again, people are saying things like, oh, this person doesn't have any real people around him.
I don't care about
That's
that. But onto
clearly
this,
not the case.
the only thing I was bringing up in that situation was the narrative and how I see things. You know, I was using that as an example for me. So every time I see certain things, I learn from it. You know, and I like talking to you because a lot of people need advice from me. And the things you tell me are the things I tell other people because I learn from it. You know what I'm saying? Like taking a breath. You know, always finding that light in the dark. Addressing what's bothering me. You know, learning how to deal with myself, it makes me learn how to deal with others.
Absolutely.
And having a friend like you that is a therapist, that's not even like charging me for therapy, that picks up my phone every single time I call. And whoever needs help, you don't charge, you be like, yo, you do it because you love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I respect that. And that's why today I need to holler at my nigga. I haven't seen him face to face in a minute. The last time there was some other traumatizing went on.
Well, during some of
But you know what? You helped us a lot. You really did, bro.
That's what I'm here for. It makes me happy to see y'all happy again. Because I know y'all work, very hard for that.
Nigga, we happy no matter what.
Yeah.
Everybody has
But you
their
work,
moments.
but you work through a lot to maintain that.
Well, I think what people have to understand is you gotta get dark to get to light. And therapy means dealing with the darkness, having all the emotional things come out so you can deal with it, and then dealing with it, and then after that you get light.
Right.
It's the darkest before the dawn.
In the times that you're feeling anxious, about whatever's going on, right? Do you feel anything before it hits you consciously? Do you feel anything like heart rate getting faster?
Nah, it's just I think about things.
Anything?
I just think about things, about the worst and the best. I just don't like thinking about the worst, but the worst has happened. So I like to be mentally prepared for both.
Right. Yeah, no, the reason why
It's like a brace your face kind of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. The reason why
yo, if it hurt, this time to deal with it. If it's good, this time to deal with it. But the hurt hurts hard, and I have to feel the hurt to deal with it. To prepare for the hurt, I gotta deal with it.
Well, the reason why I asked,
because I know it can happen.
Yeah, no, the reason why I asked that, for you and for anybody that's watching, a lot of times anxiety has physical symptoms that can actually alert you that you're about to feel anxious or that you're about to go through something, which
like
is why
you see the triggers before they happen.
Exactly. So, like when you're breathing, let's say you're breathing and you're calming yourself down. A lot of times you'll notice that some people feel, a drop in their stomach
I don't feel
things
anxiety.
like that.
I don't feel anxiety. I just don't like how it feels when I think about it. It's like when things don't happen bad, I'm walking through territory where at this point in time, things have happened that have devastated us.
Yeah.
And what's happening now was our healing. But it was definitely tiring. It took a lot out of me. I don't want to go through it again, but if I have to, I will. I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
I'm going to still be happy, I'm going to still laugh, but I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt a little more. And sometimes when you prepare for hurt, you got to feel the hurt first. So I can let me see what this hurt feel like
Yeah, because it isn't, like you say you feel tired, that's a physical thing.
Yeah,
And
but
that's,
also,
you know,
but also I'm like, let me see how I'm gonna deal with it if it happens.
yeah,
And I'll be like, that shit was depressing. But then I think about the best shit that can happen and I end up there. You feel me?
yeah,
So I think about the worst first and the best last. I think some people think about the worst and never think about the best to make them feel better.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, gangsta, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna deal with it regardless.
Well, that's why it's important. It's important, especially in times that you're feeling anxious, to stay in the present. Remember, we always talk about noticing your surroundings, what surrounds you. You know, is there a point to be feeling like that? These are things that you can rationally decipher within yourself. You just got to stay alert to the present. The problem is that people get so caught up in their anxiousness that they don't even think about what's around them. And a lot of the things that surround them will calm them down or remind them about how good things are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Like these moments don't last but like a minute.
Yeah.
And then I get back to my life that I love.
But it's good to acknowledge that you're feeling those things because that's how you deal with them.
I want, you know me, I want to be 100.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't something I feel 99% of the time. It might be something I feel 2% of the time. But I'm doing so much daily that nothing bothers me.
Yeah.
But what I've also learned over the last 3 days, because I'm enjoying my girl so much, is how to just relax. Like, I'm like, I ain't really gotta work for nothing that I want because I got everything I want. Let me sit down and enjoy it. You know? So like,
Is it hard for you to sit still?
very.
Just to relax?
Listen, Rocky works all day in her house. It doesn't, the narrative isn't work, but every second is whether she's cooking, doing yoga, doing work, exercise, cleaning the house, even if someone's there to clean the house. And I gotta be like, yo, like sometimes I feel like she feels guilty just stopping. And like, when I ask her to stop, she does. And I've been conscious about taking the time to lay in a bed that I work so hard to make the best bed during the day, not just when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
You know, I make sure I get in the pool every day to enjoy that pool and go on vacation because my life is a vacation. You know, I make sure I work the hours that I'm comfortable in an environment that feels like not work. You know, my office looks like a club. You know, and also surround myself with only people that are on the exact same wavelength as me.
Yeah.
Musically, psychologically, education, laws, you know, cut from a certain cloth. I've been able to architect that in a way that I'm so comfortable that it's scary.
Yeah.
I have a support system that's incredibly impeccable. Like, I could call you, I could call the bishop, I could call the senator, I could call a congressman, I could call a principal, I could call my family, I could call my friends. I can play music with musicians that are really good at what they do. Like, I have so many outlets that it would be disrespectful not to be happy because I'm conscious, which gives me responsibility. My responsibility is to be happy, so my kids know how to be happy. I have to lead by example every second.
Oh yeah. That also includes being like you've been, is being strong enough to confront the time where you're feeling uncomfortable and things like that. I
don't think it's weak to be uncomfortable. I think it's weak not to deal with it.
That's part of life. I think because what you're talking about right now are coping methods, right? The more you practice these coping methods, the more you implement them into your life, the more you'll be ready for when obstacles come. Life is going to bring obstacles. That's one thing that's healthy to know. Life is going to bring obstacles. You know what I'm saying? But if you're
life
prepared,
is obstacles. It's how you deal with
if you're prepared and you're constantly using these coping methods, you know, as long as you're using healthy coping methods,
nigga, I'm talking to you is one of my coping methods.
And that's how you be prepared. I think, you know, some people kind of, you know, they want to live through life and just kind of forget that there's gonna be challenges, and it's healthy to know that there's gonna be challenges. But it's a fine line between knowing that there's going to be challenges and then being anxious about
What
those.
about the challenge of you're so happy that you feel
Feel like something is just, it got something bad. Just
something got that.
got that. But that again, that goes.
And you don't want to manifest it, but I feel that's the thing. Only thing I fear is if I know my energy is powerful.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make something happen that wasn't meant to happen based on my energy.
Well, that's what
But I think my positive energy outweighs all the other shit.
And it takes discipline to work that good energy to reverse that polarity. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, just it's exercise. You know, if you don't box for a long time, you're gonna get in the ring and get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? If you don't constantly train, you know, your muscles are gonna get weak. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing about the human body, not just the brain, but just the body in itself, is that it has muscle memory. You know what I mean? Practice, you get right back up to speed. You know, it's like somebody that's an addict. You get knocked off the wagon, get your ass back up, get back on the wagon. Don't worry about yesterday, worry about right now.
And also, I like getting knocked off the wagon publicly and getting up strong.
Yeah.
I like showcasing what a man looks like,
Yeah.
what a warrior looks like.
Yeah.
And again, that's why when I see my homie, I'm like, that's what a warrior looks like. He fights valiantly, but he cries in front of people fearlessly. I don't think it's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Nah, I look forward to challenges, man. And it might sound crazy to some, but in my mentality, I almost look forward to facing losing or facing
a learning experience.
Yeah,
it's never a loss if you learn.
And that's why I look forward to facing them, because I know I'm always I've been through the worst in life. You've been through the worst in life. You get what I'm saying? And we've been able to come out better men because of it. And I just have faith that that's not going to stop now. So it's like, bring it on.
At the end of the day, I'm an aggressive guy. I come from a place of offense, not defense. You know, from strength, not weakness. And if I cry, it's because I feel like I could, because nobody could do it to me. You know, I could cry in front of anybody. Yeah. But I dare you step in front of me and fight me. You know what I mean? That's why I could cry in front of you, because I just feel everybody else's soul. And only strong people could do that.
Yeah, and it's good for, like you said, your position. You know, you're often in a position to give advice and be an example.
And fighting.
But part of that, you know, and I'm sure you know this, but I'll remind you, part of that is having empathy for when other people are feeling in a dark place, or they're feeling anxious, or they're feeling like they can't get through something.
I can relate to it.
Exactly.
I can relate to it.
You can relate to it, and you can show them through the woods.
But also sometimes I'll be like, why? Because I can deal with it. And I'll be like, yo, deal with it like me, but not everybody could, because everyone has different triggers.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, what are the main reasons you like talking to me? Because I've been through the shit you talking about. You know what I'm
You
saying?
speak my language.
You know?
Like you brought something to my attention, and that's why I was like, this is why because therapy is based on research from people that aren't from our culture.
Absolutely.
But you know therapy, but from our culture, so you know how to speak to me. But I feel sorry for anyone from our culture that has to try to decipher therapy based on somebody else. It must be very confusing.
Yeah, very. I mean, it's just like anything that's come from this country that we live in. You know, a lot of these things are based in racist ideology. Psychology is no different. You know, it took me a long time in school to learn that. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy because you would think, oh, well, like going in, you know, but you know, we're programmed, you know, going into school to think, well, everything we're receiving is going to be tip top, it's going to be right, you know, until you really get into the nitty gritty and you combine your life experience with this education that they're trying to feed you, and you see there's a lot of holes in it, and there's a lot of, you know, that wasn't meant for us. So it gets hard for me to shoulder that, but that's just what I got to do, you know.
Well, at the end of the day, the life I chose was to learn publicly. You know?
And you've been committed to it for a while now, because we've been doing this for a little bit, so.
Well, I signed on to it, and part of therapy is understanding what you sign on to. Intention is important. Intention is important. You know? And my intention is to help. And I really don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. because a lot of people don't have the courage. Most of the people that are speaking about me or judging are not fearless enough to do anything near what I'm doing. So who cares what they think? And the people that I help, one person gets helped them, I did my job. You know, it's productive. At least my intention is to help, to spread love, to feel pain so others don't.
Yeah.
And if you can learn from my experience to make your life better, I don't feel no shame in it.
No.
And I feel like
Do the
everyone
good and the
around me
bad.
does that.
Yeah, do the good and the bad. You know, I tell people, shoot, learn from my mistakes as much as my, you know, the times that I got it right. You know, whatever can help you be better in dealing with yourself and dealing with others.
But also bigger picture. If I slip for a moment and nobody gets hurt but me, every time I have an action, everyone else is helped. Then don't worry about that so much. Worry about my action and let me be human. You know what I mean? Let me have my human thing happen like everyone else's human thing happen, but I'm committed to helping people learn from my experience. So don't judge, you know? Because all you're doing is judging yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And the best way to get that message across is to do what you've been doing, and that's doing it. You know.
But you committed to it, because I called you today. I was like, yo, I need to talk to you, bro. And you were like, let me move some around.
Oh yeah, well,
Showed up.
because I think that I feel like every time we do this, it's beyond us. It's like you said, you know, when you look at the whole picture in totality, you know, a lot of the things that we're doing, we're helping somebody else that's in a dark place, that's sitting somewhere with nobody to talk to. You're your own superhero. So that's 100. Healing is gangster all the time,
Holla.
all day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.